two shows were pretty good.
Cleaned up?
Pretty good.
Yeah, you love that show. These lines with it anyway.
Mr. Funny Taken. That's brilliant, man. That is brilliant.
Hey, are those donuts for everybody?
Yes, the donuts are for everybody. Heather went to her favorite donut store and set you up today. So
they're pretty.
They
I might have
are.
to take
They
a
are
nap after
pretty.
this one.
That's like pretty.
Oh.
They're like pretty. Pretty.
Which
patties.
donut store is it?
Island.
Oh my
The
gosh.
island? It's on the island?
It's on the island.
Anastasia?
It's right across from Sunset Grill.
Diabetes in a box. Right there.
Parlor is garbage, but that is.
Yeah.
I forget which one we've been going to. It's right there by the Winn-Dixie.
I was taking a long
We don't want any
And
droplets
the
on the
Publix, right there.
Right.
Oasis.
So solid.
The
Oh.
restaurant Oasis is right there. It's like, maybe, really?
All right, so I'm gonna go
Oh, they're so
over
fancy, though.
again, and I'm sort of gonna read from the book for the beginning part of the class because it took a lot of agonizing for me to figure out how to put writing comedy, how jokes are created, you know, break it down nerdy style for everybody so that everybody could have a chance to write jokes. Yeah, I'm on page 69 right now. So, and I sort of made myself some cue cards because today when we start going through your stuff, I want to see if I can gather where you're at with a joke or with a premise or where, you know, where you're at. So we talked about briefly at the close of last class about what makes humans laugh. Definitely a surprise. When they don't know what's coming and you hit them with a surprise, sometimes a shock. Like if you, like me, when I usually play on the fact that I look so cute and innocent, and then when I say something that is not cute and innocent or comes from a dark space, that usually shocks people and creates a laughter, you know, whether it's uncomfortable, I don't know, for them, but that's something I can play on, and that is something that, you know, in my envelope, a long time ago, people told me that I look cute and innocent, and like they wouldn't expect any kind of anger from me or any kind of rage. But yes, I am a, you know, I get to know me. The cute little angry thing at home looking for, you know, cue cards can, you know, I can get angry. And so it is funny when I do get angry or when I show that emotion about something and when I get myself worked up about something. So incongruity, when things don't go right, again, I look cute and innocent, and if I play off my anger issues, then it's incongruent with what you're expecting. Again, in your envelopes, when you open that up and you see what that first impression you put out there, and if you know that that is nothing like who you are, like if somebody said you look like the HOA lady and you're nothing like the HOA lady, you can play off that. You're incongruent with it. Misery loves company. Oh my gosh. If you're going through something painful, if you're depressed, if you're whatever you can share, everybody has a relatability to that, and if you can have your comedy based on that too, and all of this stuff overlaps and weaves, and it's really hard to break it all down because it's so complex. So Sherlock Holmes effect, we talked about that. They take the pieces and they put it together. Like sometimes you put something in the beginning of your act, and then the biggest thing is that callback. If you come back to it, you put the pieces together for them. So you've laid out pieces for them to get. So that's what basically, in a nutshell, can make us laugh. Now, a joke, what is a joke? A joke is the shortest story possible. It has a beginning, middle, and it has an end. It is a little story. You're writing little story bombs the whole way through your act. A joke, you know, the beginning is called your setup, and the middle is used for building tension, right? So, and then that end is going to relieve that tension either through surprise or incongruity or however else you decide your Sherlock Holmes effect. All those things are going to relieve this tension and create that laughter. Okay. See, I told you this part's nerdy today. This part is nerdy.
Good stuff.
It's nerdy though. Okay, so I am going to read from the book for this part. The setup is the beginning of the joke and the story. It's on page 74. It also contains the middle of the joke of the story. It identifies the characters involved in the joke. Sometimes the setup pulls the audience in as part of the joke. Have you ever noticed a comedian asking, have you ever noticed? Boom, now the audience is a part of your joke. Throughout the setup, the comedian builds tension by giving hints to the audience about his or her feelings, so it's a good thing you did your feelings thing, and possible problems involving that subject. You give just enough details to hook them, but you don't give the surprise of what the punch is, okay? The punch happens when the comedy plot twist has been applied to the subject of the story and you create a believable, authentic setup and just gave them just enough details for the punch to work and the audience will laugh. That in there is the magic of stand-up. How do you get to that plot twist? I'm glad you asked. There are several ways to get to that plot twist. You can, I call it the 8 questions of comedy. Like if I just want to start writing on a subject, like being a mom and how rough it is to be a mom, I'll start asking myself, questions about this subject. Can I just tell the truth about it? Can I just give you my honest experience? Is my misery relatable to your misery? And can we find it funny together? Those type of things. Can I tell a lie about it? Can I use sarcasm? Like, I think the example I've in there is about like a guy who's talking about how much he loves his mother-in-law, but he's like making a face. So you get that incongruity and that sarcasm and you laugh about that because you might feel the same way he feels about his mother-in-law but not able to share it. Compare. Okay. Can I compare this to something else? So I just wrote a joke this week that I did at the open mic, I think on Sunday night, and it was about leaving my cell phone at home and how my anxiety, I had like an anxiety attack, about it. And then once the anxiety disappeared, I sort of like, oh my God, I feel so free again. I feel like I was wearing a skirt without underwear. I was free. I was open to possibilities. So I compared it to something. So I used a comparison to make it funny. But
That's kind of funny.
Very relatable.
it was relatable.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I like it.
You've met a girl in the 80s without there you go. She's totally open to possibilities. Okay.
Now I've been married to her for over 2 decades.
There you go. There you
Where did
go.
you hang out? I wasn't in those places.
Always in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Always.
Can I put it where it doesn't belong?
That's what she said.
Wow.
So you just hold up that card and that's it, right?
The possibilities are endless with this one. Can I put it where it doesn't belong? Okay.
There's 2 hits.
My example was it was always hard getting other parents to volunteer to help with the PTA because I was too nice. The principal always blamed it on language barriers. That's why I think all PTA presidents should get their training from the mafia, because brass knuckles and busted kneecaps are a language we can all understand, right? So there you go. I put being a PTA president where it shouldn't have been, hanging out with the mafia and getting their training, from, because it was hard. I did have a stint as a PTA president.
You did that?
Yeah, when my kids were younger, yeah. So it,
Respect.
it There was some times where I was like, I am so glad I cannot speak all the languages that are spoken at this school because I'm sure they were saying bad things about me. It was like being at the nail shop.
In Seinfeld, I love that. That was great.
So, yes, exactly. Okay, can I be totally inappropriate? Yeah, so,
I can?
yeah, totally inappropriate with good language
I
at the top of your
I'd
level
like to be a Mr. Vick.
of linguistics, yes. Can it be totally inappropriate? So for mine, my example was the PTA president thing. I said the hardest thing for me to deal with was other PTA presidents. What an uptight group of overbearing coupon clipping whack jobs. So that's pretty inappropriate. I wouldn't get hired to entertain at the PTA National Convention. I don't think that way. My least favorite thing is play on words, but there's only one play on words joke that I really love and thought was wonderful, but I usually don't use a play on words. I don't think I do. Not to the extent that the old comedians used to use a play on words. My favorite play on words joke was done by one of my students, and she said, I have some really sad news for you guys. My hamster, he passed away, today. He died at the wheel. And I just think that is so cute. So yeah, can you play on words?
I love
Can you,
funny.
yeah, do you? Okay, see, I'm
I
not.
do.
I'm
Well,
not. But
That's
some
so improv.
Yeah,
I think so.
some people are so great at it though. Like they
Mhm.
just that's where they go to,
Exactly.
and their mind is
Mhm.
there, and I love it. So when somebody does it good, I love it.
Oh, no.
But can I do it? Not that often. What if? What if? Can I use my imagination and try a what if scenario to my subject? Our PTA raised all its money to pay for PE and art classes. As much as the PTA got on my nerves, I'd hate to see our kids be without them. But what if we think? Because what if we think they are fat and ignorant now? You might as well just have a class called "Would you like fries with that?" Saying that PT, yeah. So that's what if. What if we didn't have PE? What if we didn't have art classes? What would our students turn out to be? Can I tell a story about being a PTA president? My favorite story, and this was a true story, was one day I got a phone call from the school principal, and I could hear my son in the background yelling, "It's broken, I keep telling her, it's broken, Mommy!" And the principal's like, "Miss Sandoval, I just wanted to give you a call today because your son was on the playground and he got in a scuffle with another boy, and he told that boy that he was going to use his mother's magic wand to turn him into an amphibian." And you hear my son just screaming, "I keep telling her it's broken, Mommy!"
The wand?
Yes. And I'm like, but then the principal goes, "Oh, but I understand your wand is broken and you won't be doing that, but I just wanted you to know." And I'm like, "Okay, thank you." So, oh, you got it. What button didn't I push?
The master button.
The master button.
Pretty much. That's pretty much the power. It's a big power.
Yes.
There's like 1,000 buttons over there, so.
Yeah, there is. And I was
It's
like,
easy to
okay.
miss.
And I said, test, test, test. And then I go back. Test, test,
I'm
test.
sorry. I wasn't here.
All right,
Yeah.
so how do you get there? If you go to page 83, you notice that I didn't just stop there. I broke every one of these 8
Yes.
things down for you. So if we talk about telling the truth about a subject, is my truthful experience or my truthful opinion associated with the subject funny? There is a formula that goes like this: truth plus pain equals laugh. This formula works because you are showing to the audience that you are in fact very human. The second reason, it goes back to the old saying, misery loves company. An audience is always happy to know that your life is just as imperfect as theirs. Truthful comedy, and then you have a truthful comedy writing exercise here. So again, it's a good thing you did your feelings, because my subject was kids. My feelings attached to it is confused. And then my statement about the subject using the feelings is, it's easier to send a man to the moon than raise a well-rounded child. So that's, that was just my truth of it. Can you use sarcasm or tell a lie about the subject? Okay, so that's number 2. It's on page 84. When you tell a lie in comedy, you're basically telling the truth. Although the words that come out of your mouth will be a lie, it is the sarcastic tone in which it is delivered that lets the audience know what is in fact authentic. So you can tell the truth, you tell a lie using sarcasm. Okay. Can I compare this subject to something relatable or totally unrelatable? This is on page 85. Comparing your subject to another like subject or unlike subject is a great way to share with the audience how you feel about the subject without even telling them the word feeling attached to it. Like the joke I told you at the beginning that I just wrote. I was comparing it to what it felt like. I was free finally. Whoa, I don't have my phone with me. Anything could happen. The audience will begin to connect the dots and use your comparison as it unfolds. And then again, there's another comedy writing exercise. Since I didn't do the one for sarcasm. So again, I kept with kids. Again, I kept the feeling confused. And the opposite feeling would be understanding. So kids are easy once you figure out it is the yellow M&Ms that make them misbehave. So again, just being silly. I was trying to put jokes in here that would never be in my head, just so I could show you how to break it down, how I break it down. Okay, the comparison. Okay, so kids, I did the chart again. Comparison, I'm comparing them to a detour. Kids are like a detour because nothing goes as planned. Can I put the subject where it doesn't belong? Can I put something with the subject that wouldn't naturally be there? Okay, so that is put it where it doesn't belong, right? Okay. Kids again. Kids working as a bartender. You'd never have a kid working as a bartender, right? Kids would make great bartenders because no matter how crappy you told them your day had been, they would still reply with, "Wow, I can't wait till I grow up."
I wanted a grand entrance.
Jason, like the calendar, I got it right today. Dun, dun, dun. We're breaking down, we're on page 86, and we're talking about the different ways to turn our subjects into jokes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I was talking about number 4, putting it where it doesn't belong. And
I've done that.
and
before.
sort of, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, putting things where they don't belong is called contrasting. And you thought it was lazy and irresponsible. No. Contrasting is basically an ambush on the audience. You want them to be surprised by what elements you have put into your subject. And so, yes, you'd be surprised if you had a kid working as a bartender. The next one on page 87, and the reason I'm doing it this way is because this is the nerdy part of this class. This is like, I'm breaking it down, Jason.
Good.
Yeah. Can I be totally inappropriate in my thoughts about the subject? Do you have any thoughts or opinions that others might frown upon involving this subject? Another way to look at it is to think about your audience frame of reference to this subject and write down things that they might be thinking but would never say out loud. So when you do that, kids, my inappropriate thought was, it's easy to keep kids quiet. All it takes is a couple well-pieced places of duct tape, and they're as quiet as can be. So there you go. Can I use a play on words of this subject? Let's see how well I did at this one. A play on words is when you apply a comedic work on a familiar saying, metaphor, famous quote, antonyms, synonyms, homonyms, and hyperboles. Ooh, boy, this is like English class all over again. Grammar school review. So antonyms, a word meaning that is the opposite of another word. For example, hot, cold, old, young, balanced, imbalanced. Synonyms are words that have the same meaning as another word in the same language, such as polite, courteous, cordial, and then another one, funny, amusing, comical, laughable, comedian, humorous, jokester, quipster. Ooh, quipster. I like that one. Homonyms, a word that it produces the same as another but different meaning when spelled the same way or not. Oh my gosh, why did they make English so hard? And those examples are blue, blue, flea, flea, toe, toe. You guys can think of a lot of them. Hyperbole is language that describes something as better or worse than it really is. It's raining cats or dogs. I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. She never stops talking. Also keep in mind, I feel like that today.
Would a portmanteau be valuable here?
What's that?
A portmanteau.
What's that?
What is that, Jim?
It's like brunch,
Oh.
when two words are
Oh,
combined
okay.
to
Yeah,
make
yeah, yeah, definitely. You could add that in here.
Portmanteau.
a portmanteau.
Yeah.
It's like a
Is that legit?
suitcase.
It's a French word, yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
French. That's pretty
When
cool.
two things come together.
Yeah.
Oh.
See,
Yeah,
if
you could definitely do that.
If you went to a dementia class, that's where I learned that. You think people are like out of there like, but then there's people like me that actually pay attention and learn things. I learned more in a dementia class than I learned in college.
There you go.
Well done.
Also
Portmanteau.
keep in mind
Portmanteau. Okay.
social media phrases, song, book, movie titles are excellent candidates for play on words. In order to find a play on words, you need to ask yourself a series of questions. Are there any other words that have the same meaning as your topic word? Then for me, I put like, if my topic is kids and children, youngsters, brats, does your word have any other meaning? Think homonyms, baby goats, brats, what is baby goats? Kids, there you go. What is the opposite of your topic word? Senior citizens, geezers, parents. Is there a hyperbole that describes your feelings about the topic word? My kids are eating me out of house and home. That would be, think exaggerated, What words rhyme with your topic word? Bid, fib, lid, squid, rid. Are there any popular ad slogans that describe feelings about this topic? Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't, when you're dealing with kids. Is there a popular saying that describes your feelings about this topic? Damned if you do and damned if you don't. Is there a song or book title that describes your feelings about this topic? I put AC/DC's Highway to Hell, Little Miss Sunshine. And is there a metaphor that describes your feelings about this topic? Love conquers all. So, did I do like a joke on this one? Oh, example. Kids are great. I know some people who call them brats, or at least I do. But I have to wonder, when do we start naming them after a Subaru? I would go as far to say I have a herd of kids, except we can't milk any of them. children, I have to tell you, sometimes you feel like a nut and sometimes you feel you don't have the parenting skills of a tuna fish. Parenting for me is like being on the highway to hell with Little Miss Sunshine. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Doomed if you don't.
Doomed if you don't. Damned if you do and doomed if you don't. There we go. But one thing my kids have taught me is the most of the time I am right even when I am wrong, and that really love does conquer all, even giant squids. There you go. So that one was rough for me to do, the play on words, because I don't think I'm a play on words person. Maybe you guys can teach me how to play with my words more, but maybe I do. I don't know. Can I use my imagination to put a what if scenario on my subject? And this is page 92. What if is the most enjoyable writing technique. Be prepared to explore a vast territory of creative license. This is, definitely if you're into like scene writing or, I think every screenplay is written on this what if. What if your dog could talk? What would he say? How would your dog talk to you?
I'm not sure. Somebody asked me that recently.
You see? There you go.
Like,
What if your dog could talk? What if you could exchange roles with the dog?
Is there more about? Oh, I stopped it. Sorry.
That's okay. What if you could exchange roles with your dog? What would that be like? What would it be like if you were the dog and your dog was your owner? What if dogs did not exist? What would the world be like without them? Oh man. The only limitation in the what if writing technique is your imagination. So what if? I use this chart again, kids. What if kids could tell you exactly how to raise them? They would be telling us, no, don't smack me now. Let me wait a few hours. It'll be more effective. So what if kids could do that? And then my favorite one is the tell a story about the subject. So if you have a funny story that you think would be relatable to your audience, about your I did the one about the PTA, and then I tell you how to break down the story. So the one thing, like the joke being the shortest story, you just need to start, and we were just talking about that in improv class. Don't start with hi, how are you? Start where they need to be started at. Where can you start that they have enough details to get the joke, but you don't sound like you're rambling. So start where you need to start. Don't start at, and they were born on July 5th. Start.
Are you my mother?
Yeah. Start right, where we need to come into the scene. Boom, start there. And that's what I tried to do with the story, is break it down to the beginning. Like, I wrote the long details of the story, and what details are needed in this story. So the details are needed. The principal called me and Joseph was sobbing in the background. That's my son. He was sobbing in the background. That's all you really need to know. What details are not needed in this story? The number of years I was PTA president. You don't need to know Joseph's age. You don't need to know the name of the school. You don't need to know the name of the other boy. Just the details of what is needed to get the story across. The middle of the story. What sentence contains the setup or the comedy twist that will provide the punchline? The principal said, but I understand it's broken, so I guess we don't have to worry about that. Did you walk in when I did this story about okay, all right, so the principal goes on, apparently we have a magic wand at your house, and Joseph told the other boy he was going to use it to turn him into an amphibian. But I understand it's broken now, so I guess we don't have to worry about that. The end of the story. I thanked her for her call, but I got off the phone and was thinking, that wand's not broken. It's just fine. So that's how I turned that story. That's where I punched it at the end. Okay? So you just give enough details so that you're not sounding like you're rambling up there. All right, so any questions? Any like in hearing those techniques that are used, can you see like where they popped up this week when you were writing down your when the jokes flew into your brain, or the ideas of what you want to talk about on stage? Do you see where any of those like match up and stuff? Okay, all right, that's pretty cool. Do you see it? Do you see any of those coming through? You were all about feelings this week. Did you capture anything like when you had a funny thought or somebody laughed around you? Did you write a couple of those down? Okay, so that was basically your main assignment, is to write down when somebody laughs or you had a funny thought that you thought, hey, this could be pretty good. This will be relatable. Jesse, you just looked down at your book like.
I'm the worst.
But that's the whole thing. I mean, basically, comedy is capture. You gotta capture it when it happens. Because let me tell you, there's sometimes I'm in the living room and I'm like, that's awesome. And I make it to the bedroom and I'm like, what was I thinking about? Damn it, that was so funny.
100%, always.
That was so darn funny. Everybody would have loved that on social media. Now it's just gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like that capture system.
And I didn't do that until like Thursday, and I was like, I know we have homework. What are we supposed to do? And then I read it, and I was like, shit. I wasn't like paying attention all week. So then I was like, what did I talk about on Monday and Tuesday? And I was trying to go back.
Yeah.
I was able to remember a few things, but yeah, it's hard to like just think about. I couldn't remember garbage bags on my list. I'm sitting there looking at my list. I'm like, what was it that I was supposed to put on here? It took me 2 days. It was garbage bags.
See, when I'm in class and I'm teaching, it's like just like this. It's all spur of the moment.
Right.
And so by the time I'm out of class, I don't remember what the hell I said.
Do you ever just tape yourself? Just like have your phone recording so you can go
No.
back and hear where they laughed?
No.
Because that might be your capture system then. Everybody's capture system is different. And sometimes people just tape it. Like
Yeah,
they're not, or they need to get it fast, and that's how they do it. So maybe while you're teaching, maybe you should be running your just.
It's a good idea. I never thought about it because when I'm done with whatever just comes out of me is what comes out of me. I tell them it's like whatever falls out of the pumpkin
Right.
is
here.
what it is, and that's it. And I have to if someone stops me and said, "Could you repeat what you just said?" I'm like, "No,"
Yeah.
because I have no idea what I said.
So that might be, and that's some people that we're all different on how we capture. Some people are auditory, and that's how they do it. There's some comedians that don't write anything down, and you're amazed by, you just remembered everything. How did you do that? Because I can't do that. I have to have something written down, concrete. And then my mind.
But like when you perform, do you still look at your notes, or you at that time you?
Sometimes I do. It depends how I have it written down. Like if I make myself a colorful set list, I can pull it up in my brain and see it in the back.
Right.
It's funny, but it's true. And my set list goes in a circle. For me, I need it in a circle. I can't do a straight line because straight lines I get lost. But for me, I'm circular. So if I put all my jokes in a circle and use like some color and sort of when I'm grouping them, I'll try and group them all. Like this is mom jokes. This is being single jokes. This is cat jokes. That's dog jokes.
Yeah.
So I'll try and group them together, and then they're in that for me, and then I can pull that up in the back of my brain if I get lost. But sometimes I do get lost, or I get excited, like if something goes really well and you get like this big response, you get like, oh my gosh, they like me, oh my god, they like me, And maybe I should just start doing that just to calm myself down, is just respond to that. Because in the back of my mind's going, oh my God.
What's my next joke?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, I can't believe they like me. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that would be, maybe I should start. And that's why I'm taking improv classes, to sort of be able to acknowledge that moment when I'm feeling that. And then I'll probably forget the whole rest of my set because I've acknowledged it. Like where was I?